Is a second grade math video. I'm Miss Jackson Smith, and today is Tuesday, May 12th, 2020. And today we are learning about something so exciting that is totally new called point coordinates. So by the end of this lesson, you're going to know how to look at a coordinate plane and write down numbers that tell us where the point is. There's all sorts of rules you're going to learn, and I'm really excited to get started. First off, we've got a warm-up. That is another story problem about reading A to Z. So just listen to me read it and think, what is this story asking me to do? On Raz Kids, there was a second grader who read 8 books one week and 23 books the second week. How many more books did she read the second week than the first week? So I heard that we know she read 8 books the first week. I also heard that we know that she read 23 books the second week. Now we have to think, what is this question asking us to find out? The question asks us, how many more books did she read the second week than the first week? This word than is so important. It's a big clue that tells me that we are comparing. We want to find how many more books is 23 books compared to 8 books. So we're trying to find the difference. Next up, we're going to draw. I want you to get your pencil ready and draw this tape diagram with me. My first tape is for week 1, and it's 8 books. And I drew 8 little dots above the tape just to show you that it represents 8 books. You don't have to draw those 8 dots. You could just draw the tape and label it 8 books. So go ahead and draw the first week's tape, and if you need extra time, press pause. I'm going to move on and draw the next week's tape too. The second week is 23 books, so my tape is going to be way longer. It looks like this. And I drew little dots up above in groups of 5, so skip count with me to make sure I did it right. 5, 10, 15, 20, 21, 22, 23. So that's 23 books. If you need a little bit of time to do your drawing, just press pause because I'm going to move ahead and do the next step. So my next step is to think, how can I use my drawing to show me the difference between these two amounts? In first grade, we did this a lot towards the end of the year. I don't know if you remember, but we would draw a line like this because that line shows what it would be like if they were the same amount. And then it makes it really easy to see this group over here that is the amount that we're trying to look for, that how many more are the difference. So now that I drew this line, it's easy to see that I could just count. So let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 books and 8 books over here would get us to 23. You don't need to label all of these numbers, but I just did just to show you kind of how we counted. So now it's time to write a number sentence. We wanted to find out the difference between 8 and 23. So how many we would have to put on to 8 to get to 23. So that's like 8 plus something equals 23. But it's also can be written a different way. Let me show you. If we think about 8 as one of the parts, and then we were looking for what part would get us to 23, that means we have a missing part. And when we have a missing part, we can write the fact family and rewrite the number sentence so it's subtraction. 23 minus 8 equals something. When we're writing it like this, it helps me see that like maybe I could write this vertically and do my subtraction the way I've practiced all year long. So I'm going to write it vertically and look in the ones place. You go ahead and write it vertically and then look in the ones place with me. 3 minus 8. I see right away there is more on the floor. When there's more on the floor, where do we go to get more? We go next door. So we go to the tens place. We take 1 10. That's 10 ones more. So I take 1 10. Now I have 1 10, 13 ones. Now I can subtract 13 minus 8, Well, I'm going to do counting up. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 5. And then 1 minus nothing is just 1. So my answer is 15. That matches what my drawing helped me find out. So now I'm going to write my answer statement. She read 15 more books in the second week than the first week. We are all done. Give yourselves a big pat on the back and get ready to learn our new skill for today. So I'm going to start off teaching you this new skill by actually teaching you something that you've probably seen before. The thing you've seen before is a number line. You've seen this in Oberlin. You saw this in our classroom above our book bags. We had a number line that went all along that wall, right? And on our number line, there's these 2 arrows at each end that go on forever and ever and ever in both directions. So on this slide, you're just seeing a part of the number line. On the number line, as you go one direction, the numbers get bigger when you count this way. Or they get greater. But as you count the other way, the numbers get smaller. So sometimes we've used number sentences or number lines to solve number sentences. So for example, we could draw points on this number line to help us count. We could draw a point for 6 where we start, and then we could draw little steps that we take if we take 7 steps to get to our next point. So I would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps to get to our next point, which was 13. And when we draw points on our number line, they line up exactly with that number. Today, we're going to do something kind of crazy. We're going to take 2 number lines, one that's normal, horizontal, then we're going to take another number line and get it up like this, going vertically, and they're going to cross each other. Let me show you what it looks like. There's the horizontal one, it's totally normal, and then we take this other one and stand it up, and it's going vertical. Both of them start at 0 in the same place, and then as they go out, the numbers get bigger. We call this a coordinate plane. Coordinates are just the numbers on each number line, okay? And the plane is the thing that we made by crossing them like this. A coordinate plane looks usually like this. It's a set of straight lines. So there's the straight lines going side to side and straight lines going up and down that are labeled with numbers to show points. So if you notice, from each number, there's a little gray line going up or a little gray line going to the side. So anything on this line would line up with this 4. Anything on this line would line up with the 6, okay? On our number line, we always look at the bottom number first. So we always look at the bottom one, and then we always move to the side one next. That's really important when we look at things called points. So a point can go any place where these lines are crossing. So I put the smiley face to show a point where this line crosses with this line. We can write down coordinates, numbers, but we're going to write down coordinates to show where the point is. And remember what I told you? We start with the bottom one, and then we write the number for the side. There's a little X here and a little Y. So some people would also tell you we start with the X number line, and then we do the Y number line. But all I need you to remember is start in the bottom, then go on the side. So let's try it. For this point, we're going to write down the coordinates. Let's start on the bottom, then go on the side. If we stretch out this line and look down at the bottom, this smiley face lines up with the 4 on the bottom, so we're going to write down 4. Very easy. Then I look on the side. Let's stretch it out, and it lines up with the 3. So the number I'm going to write is 3. The coordinates for this point are 4 then we write a comma, and 3. That's it. That's all there is to it. So now let's just try together. I'm going to show you a coordinate plane that has tons of emojis on it. And our job is to write down the coordinates for each emoji by looking at the bottom, then at the sides. So let's try together. Oh my goodness, there are so many emojis on this coordinate plane. Our first job is to look at the one with the heart eyes. So I want you to just look closely and find the one with the heart eyes. Then I want you to remember, did Miss JS say that we need to look at the bottom first or the side? If you thought the bottom first, you're right. So let's look at that heart eyes emoji and think, what number does it line up with on the bottom? That's the bottom number line. I drew a line down, it lines up with the 4. So let's all take up our pencils and write down 4 for the first number. Now, let's look at the side number. It lines up with the 1, so let's all take our pencils and write down a 1. All right, that is it. We are done with this coordinate. That was super easy. Are you ready to find all the coordinates for the other ones? Well, I am. So let's keep going. Nice job. Let's write the other coordinates. So we knew that this heart eyes one was 4, 1. Now I want you to go ahead and write down the coordinates for each of these emojis that I showed you. So the one that's blowing steam out of its nose that's grumpy, and the one with the little angel. So pause the video, write down the coordinates, and then press play to check your work. Okay, so these are the coordinates for each of those emojis. The grumpy one is at the 9 on the bottom and 1 on the side. The angel one has a 1 at the bottom and a 9 at the side. So I write down for the angry one 9, 1, and then for the bottom one I write down 1, 9. Let's keep going. The rest of the emojis. So there's the sleepy emoji, the laughing and crying emoji, and the sunglasses emoji. Pause the video, write down the coordinates, and press play when you're ready to check your work. All right, let's look at the sleeping emoji first. When I look at the sleeping emoji, I look down, then I look to the side. So the first number I write is 3, because it's on the 3. Then the next number I write is the 4. For the smiling and crying one, the first number I write is 6, then comma 5. And then for the sunglasses one, I look down first and it lines up with the 8. Then I look to the side and it's 7. So it's 8, 7. That's really all there is to it, my friends. So on your Google Classroom work for today, the big thing you need to remember is that when you write down the coordinates, you always look at the bottom number line, then the side number line. That's really all there is. So don't get tricked. And I'm really excited to see all your work on the coordinate plane. Tomorrow we're going to switch to a different thing we're learning, and I'm excited about that too, but that's all there is for today. So I'll see you tomorrow.